Hey y'all, this is Allison hanging out in my space to craft, and I'm ready to do my Girl Scout page kit. I have a lot of photos. I just laid out the papers here. I was really trying to decide if I wanted the dark green background or this cream background. I'm probably gonna go with the cream just because I love this paper so much, and I'm not gonna be able to, the dark green doesn't look as good with it. Not sure which order I'm going to do, but I think I'm going to do some kind of variation of this layout. It looks like it's got 7-inch, I'm going to assume 7-inch strips here, 7 by 12. This is a little close. If like this won't work because this is more than 12 inches. So I'm going to do 7 by 12 and then offset it and overlap them. And then I'm probably going to have to cut a title on my Cricut. And then my photos obviously are going to be different. So I think this is approximately the photo layout that I'm going to do. I might fussy cut this and see if I can fit that in. And then I have a whole bunch of ephemera, including some flowers and this tree. I really want this tree by this outdoor photo, but it doesn't look good on this. So I think this paper is going to have to go wherever I'm going to put this. So if I put this lower, for example, then I'm going to want this paper on the bottom. That may be what I do. So I can do this because I just love this. This was a swap. So I think I may do, oh no, maybe on this side. Yeah. I'm gonna do something like that. So that is my basic plan. I'm gonna get to cutting and I'm gonna come back to you when I've cut those things so you don't have to watch that very slow process. And we'll figure out what other papers I have. I have the backside of this, which I love with it. The backside of this works. So I'll still have those 5-inch strips for matting and stuff like that. And I have one other piece of paper here, which does not look as good. It's a little more yellow than I wanted. So that may not work as well as I hoped it would. And this side is cute, but it doesn't look good with this, or really as much with this. So that may have to go back. All right, let me do some basics and I'll come back. This page ended up taking me a while because I kept sort of adding processes to it. So I decided to do a frame. I did gut the dark green paper. I just wasn't happy with the, I guess, the harshness of the vanilla paper. It just seemed so disconnected from the kind of distressed look of the Girl Scout paper. So I created frames on 3 sides of each page 1 and page 2, and then I inked them using Mowed Lawn. The edges, just to soften that edge even further, and I was much happier with that. All right, I'm digging through my bin of a million creative memories, photo mats and journal cards and stuff. I think I'm going to use these journal cards. I end up not using them that way because my photos are just a tiny bit too small, and so the frame part isn't working, but I still make use of the papers because they're a good size for the photo mats, the back side of them. So I'm just looking for the right colors. All right, so I do find what I'm looking for, real pretty pink. I think that's the one that I end up using. Oh no, it's not. I'm looking for the right page. There's so many different colors. And this is the Candy Shop set of mats. I have used Candy Shop for a page recently, actually. I think it was the birthday page. And so it has the colors that are really good with this. They're pretty vibrant. They're not the distressed look of the papers. I could have actually not distressed, but sanded the edges of these papers to make them fit in a little bit better with the distressed look of the paper, but I'm okay with it. It made the photos pop, so I'm okay with that. So here I put them on here and I decide do I keep that, or I decide it's not going to work. I decide it's not going to work. I start out with this pink, I trim them and everything, and then I'm like, I'm not loving it. I'm not loving it. Because these are journal boxes and my photos are a tiny bit too small, and so I can't get them to fit. Now I could turn them over and use the back side, but I decide to opt for the green instead. So a few stops and starts on this, a few misses, but it's all okay. It's not a big deal. I am really happy with how the page came out. These bigger pages, and you know, sometimes I think it's easier to get a really creative layout for a one-page layout than a two-page layout. When you do a two-page layout, there's just certain things you have to do to make them cohesive and tie them together, and sometimes I struggle to get an interesting layout that doesn't look like all the other layouts. But I think I achieved it on this one. I liked these big blocks sort of overlapping the pages and overlapping each other. I think that worked. I am trimming this down. It felt a little bit big, but I still wanted the trefoils to show. I wanted it to still look like Girl Scout paper, so I just tore the end of it just to not be too boring. And I'm going to set that block there, and that's going to enable me to stretch that circle paper just a bit and make it look like it's longer than 12 inches long. So I have already matted the 4x6 of the group of us, and I used the back side of one of those papers that has like Girl Scout phrases and words on it. So happy with that. And I'm ready to stick down the big blocks now. I just need to trim them to stretch them across the 2 pages. So you can see it's a little bit of a process. I didn't ink the dark green one because I didn't think it would matter or show. I didn't ink everything, but to help with contrast, I did ink a few things. So here I cut that into 2 strips, so I'm just stretching it across the 2 papers, the photo column. And that makes it look like it's a little bit longer, so I'm happy with that. So you could do this if you only had 6 inches, 6-inch papers, you could divide them in half and then flip them to get your two 6 by 12 sheets of paper. So you could, for this center, just use one paper might work as well, and then use other things for your mats and stuff. So pretty good layout for being somewhat efficient with your papers. So now I'm ready to start auditioning embellishments, and I get a little carried away there on the far right side. It gets that embellishment cluster gets really big, so I'm going to tie it all in together. So right now I'm just trying things out. I also have a title still to do, and I will go off and do that after I do most of the embellishments. Just trying to figure out what can go where. In this whole series, I haven't been leaving a lot of room for journaling because I know my daughter's not going to do it or get around to it a lot. And this is really her album. And I do want any journaling to be her thoughts. So just struggling with that a little bit. But I figure if I can leave her a little bit of space and she can write just a little bit, we'll be okay. Here's where I'm trying to make sure that I'm going to leave room for the title and not overfill that area and make it too messy. And then I remembered I have all these Girl Scout stickers to use as well. So I'm going to try and find a home for quite a few of the dimensional stickers on this sheet. They're multi-layered, and so this is not probably the final resting place of all these things. I'm just sort of trying to make a go of using some stuff up and finding a home for things. So these are the little stars that go on their uniforms. So I thought I'd use those as a sprinkling thing on the page, and some trefoils as well. And then this My Troop, it does make it onto the page. I don't remember where. That's not its final home. All right, so I'm going to go stick all this stuff down and make the title. And then we'll come back and... All right, so I've made the title, and I decided to write Camp Inn. As you can tell, I used dies instead of my Cricut. Had I done my Cricut, I could have easily done a 2-layered title and, you know, had it stuck together, but I didn't necessarily need that. I just wanted to be able to read the letters, so I used one of the pink scraps that I had left. And I do just stick this down. I don't glue it down because I figure I might have to adjust things around a bit. It's pretty scary to commit to letters on a big page and use glue that's not repositionable. And sure enough, I am going to shift it around just a little bit, shift it over. I'm just trying to get that C a little bit away from the center of that flower on the green paper because I didn't think it showed up enough. And then, yeah, just adjusting things around now that that's on there. And I'm going to do enamel dots. So you can see I have the little girl there. So I have kind of a big area in the top left, and then it takes you down to the sort of middle left, and then across, and then all the way up the side with the tree and a whole bunch of embellishments. and I think it worked out well. I got to use those flowers that have been in my stash forever. So please give this video a thumbs up. I had a lot of fun documenting this camping trip, and I've got more pages to come, including a little mini pool party. Thanks a lot, you guys. Please subscribe.